Is Joel Rubin, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State and author of the briefing book on Substack. Joel, it's nice to see you. It seems pretty unclear what exactly this nominal ceasefire deal, if there is one, given what happened last night, what it actually covers. You know, the White House has said energy and infrastructure are off limits, but the Kremlin has kind of parsed those words and declared that the agreement refers more narrowly to energy infrastructure. What does the deal actually mean, and how does what happened overnight impact it?
Yeah, Christina, it's great to be with you. And look, you know, there's really nothing that can be trusted from what the Russians are agreeing to right now, because what they're attempting to do is to set up conditions for the negotiation next week, the sort of proximity negotiation in Saudi Arabia, where they don't have to come in with any firm commitment. It's clear that Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, he has agreed to a ceasefire. He accepted what President Trump asked, and Vladimir Putin is now seeing that as an opportunity to try to leverage more concessions ahead of time. I just don't think that our negotiating team right now is putting enough pressure on Vladimir Putin, and that's a real problem, because when these talks take place next week, we're going to have to be shuttling between two different hotel floors to try to get to some agreement. And if we're not pressuring Putin, there doesn't seem to be a lot of optimism for any type of real agreement that can come out of these talks.
What levers are there? What pressures could the U.S. be using? I mean, I know Europe has talked about confiscating some of these frozen Russian funds. Would that do it? How do you get Vladimir Putin to the table? What levers can you pull?
Well, there's a tremendous volume of levers that are out there, and President Biden left a lot of them to President Trump, and he squandered them. Levers like working with our allies in NATO and bringing them into the talks to put broader pressure on Vladimir Putin, ensuring that the sanctions regime truly is being executed properly, threatening to take the $200 billion of frozen Russian assets and giving that to the United States Treasury or to Ukraine, publicly calling out Vladimir Putin. President Trump has not done that once, but we're not doing any of that. And so the result is that Vladimir Putin sees an open playing field. He sees us doing predetermined concessions to him on all of his big asks, like the ones I just outlined a moment ago. And so we don't seem to want to really pressure Putin into coming to the agreement that he needs to come to for there to be a ceasefire. All
right, I want to pivot to another ongoing conflict, and that's Israel in Gaza.
Yeah.
Now, Israel has resumed its airstrikes and ground operations, killing an estimated 600 people this week alone, according to NBC News. Now, the Israeli defense minister has ordered Israeli troops to permanently seize parts of the Gaza Strip to be, quote, annexed to Israel unless Hamas hands over the remaining hostages. This ceasefire deal was supposed to be entering phase 2 at this point. It's stalled out at phase 1. Is phase 1 even durable, and how do you think both sides will get back together to try to resume these talks, given the situation on the ground?
Well, Christine, I'm going to be very blunt on this one. The Trump team has been dithering on diplomacy, and now we see the result, which is basically there is no American engagement right now to try to maintain a ceasefire like we all saw the benefit of, which was hostages getting released, aid going to the Palestinian civilians, engaging with the question of a day after scenario. That all blew up, remember, in early February when President Trump decided to propose Gaza on the Riviera. That was actually supposed to be a moment when we were going to get to phase 2 negotiations. And right now there's no vision. So the people are suffering. The hostages are underground and suffering. The Israeli people are protesting a restarting of this war as well. And so a lack of American vision, leadership, and engagement is directly causing this new flare-up, which does not seem to have a real path towards getting to an immediate ceasefire.
And of course, it is the regular, everyday people who are going to suffer most in both those conflicts the longer they endure. All right, Joel Rubin, thank you so much for joining us.
Dana.